Now 5:52, the board will reconvene back into open session. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Rogers to lead us in our invocation, followed by Owen Bartosh with our pledges.
If y'all would, please bow your head and pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this evening. Thank you for every single person in this room and what they represent and the business they have with our district. And even though it's School Board Appreciation Month, we're truly the ones that are honored that get to serve. And we had a special meal tonight, and we just thank you so much for the people that prepared it. Be with the Blythe family as we lost a coach from the district, a retired coach, and just be with that family as they go through the next few days. And just be with us tonight and help us make decisions that glorify you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mr. Bartosh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Good job.
Okay, next item on our agenda would be our recognitions. Oh, why do I skip that every time? Sorry.
Mr. Schofield.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Our vision is to be a district where innovation thrives and growth is limitless.
We value choices because they make us unique and are critical to learning. We value a collaborative culture that honors and supports all who positively impact the lives of our students.
We value an environment of belonging that respects individual differences and ensures equality for all.
We value relationships that broaden learning experiences and enrich our community.
Now we're moving to recognition. Ms. Bridges, we have a few of those tonight, I believe.
We do. Good evening, Board and Dr. Hollingsworth. We welcomed students back today, and so that means that we get to welcome them to the board meeting to recognize them for some great accomplishments. I would first like to invite the Waxahachie High School boys cross-country team. All right. Yeah, Coach, we need you up here too. As a team this year, the boys cross-country program ran against the toughest teams in the state of Texas week in and week out. They were ranked top 10 in the state. They won their second district championship in a row, and they finished 5th in the Region 2 championships, which was their best finish since joining 6A. Graham Scott finished with a school record of 15:14. Brock Morales at 15:47 became the fastest sophomore in school history. Cooper Grady's 15:48 was the second fastest sophomore time in school history. Lucas Witt's 15:48.4 was the third fastest sophomore time in school history. Johnny Marsh's 16:14 was the fourth fastest sophomore time in school history. So, and y'all, we still have these kids for 2 more years. And Lucas Acevedo's 16:19 was the 8th fastest senior time in school history. And Ezra Perez's 16:41 was the 9th fastest junior time in school history. One of these guys went to state. Lucas Witt ran a PR of 15:48.4, which put him 7th at all time in school history. He placed 5th in the District 11 6A District Championship, 21st at the 6A Region 2 Championship, and qualified for the state championships. He is the first boy in school history to qualify for state at the 6A level. He is first team all-district and co-runner of the year. Now, I also want to say that when Coach De La Cruz put all this information together, he did leave one important thing out, and that is that Coach De La Cruz was also named Coach of the Year. We are very proud of this team and their coach. And honestly, boys, with this type of cheering squad, I'm not sure how you don't just do better year after year, right? Great job, guys.
Thank you, board. Thank you, thank you. Thank y'all.
You okay? All right. And trustees, next I'd like to invite Sean Cagle to come up for 2 fine arts recognitions.
Good evening, board. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of your support for the fine arts. Oh, excuse me.
You're fine.
And we have a couple of really great recognitions tonight. First of all, I'd like to start off with the Spirit of Waxahachie Band, who made yet another trip to the finals. Yes. Yes. State marching finals yet again, a long tradition of excellence in the band program. Since 2009, they've been to state every year that it was put on. 90% of those, they made it into the finals. And an interesting statistic, 1 out of 12, there are 1 out of 12 bands out of 500 that have made it to the finals 90% or higher in the last 10 years in 5A or 6A. So, I mean, that is quite an accomplishment. And it is quite an endeavor that takes hundreds of people and thousands of hours. And so we appreciate these students. And we have staff, Director Rich Armstrong, Reggie Cook, Alex Decoto, and Denise Armstrong with us here tonight.
Great job, guys. Thanks for coming.
So also, we'd like to make some recognitions for our theater department. We had several students, I'll figure it out in a minute, who went and competed in the Texas Thespians. It's a conference, and they have students that come and do interviews and perform. And we have several, as you can see, that are all national qualifiers. We have Levi Lovett in playwriting, Avery Abedy in solo musical, Eli Nance in solo musical, Angela Presser in solo dance, Sydney Sambell, solo dance, Abigail Kennedy, solo musical, Aaron Long in solo musical, Jalen Cox in solo musical. Wilcox, thank you. Jalen Wilcox in solo musical. Cole Sullivan and Noah Reynolds in duet acting, Caitlin Martin in stage management, and Sydney Velasquez in solo musical. And Sydney also was one of 2023's Texas Thespian All-State Company. So thank y'all so much for all your hard work. We also have their director, Andy Reynolds, here as well. Hey. Go get you. Me and you?
I'll both go get in the picture.
Yes, you're fine.
Trustees, next I'd like to invite WHS Interim Principal Jacob Perry to come up.
All right. Board, thank you for giving me a time tonight to recognize a very special individual. Not too long after I joined the high school campus this year, we had a significant event early in the morning that this teacher played a remarkable role in intervening in the significant incident that happened. So we never know when duty will call upon us or our actions will profoundly impact another person's life. We all hope to be up to the challenge if we're ever called upon. Mr. Kevin Sanders is a 24-year veteran in education and is in his 5th year at Waxahachie High School. And on November 13th, as school was beginning, during his morning duty station, this such moment occurred. Mr. Sanders was found in his duty area when a Waxahachie student was experiencing a medical emergency. Mr. Sanders' quick actions set the wheels in motion, bringing medical attention, administration, security to take care of the student, potentially saving their life. And I'll tell you, that was a wake-up call for us that morning, and without this man where he needed to be doing what he did in a very, very calm and collective response, changed the life of that student that day. When it mattered most, Mr. Sanders, you were there for our students. Thank you. In addition, I'd like to say he is the husband, the better half, his better half is Miss Shay Sanders. She works in our office, and they're joined by their son, Paxton Wills.
Trustees, finally this evening, we would like to recognize you. As I'm sure you know, this month is School Board Appreciation Month, and we are so grateful to all of you for the many, many hours you spend, the difficult decisions you make, and the countless ways that you support the students and staff of Waxahachie ISD each day. I'd like to read a proclamation from the Texas Association of School Boards. Whereas the mission of public schools is to meet the educational needs of all children and to empower them to become competent, productive contributors to a democratic society in an ever-changing world. And whereas local school board members are elected by their community members to do what's best for students. And whereas local school board members work closely with parents, educational professionals, and other community members to create the educational vision we want for our students. And whereas local school board members are responsible for ensuring the structure that provides a solid foundation for our school system. And whereas local school board members are strong advocates for public education and are responsible for communicating the needs of the school district to the public and the public's expectations to the district. Now, therefore, January 2024 is School Board Recognition Month in the state of Texas, and Waxahachie ISD students and staff, as well as our community as a whole, declare our appreciation to the members of the Waxahachie ISD School Board. We urge all citizens to join us in recognizing the dedication and hard work of local school board members and in working with them to mold an education system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children. This year's School Board Appreciation Month theme is locally elected, community connected, and as you know, we always purchase a book for each elementary school library, so this one is called A Vote is a Powerful Thing. There is a book plate inside with each of your names, and this particular book is the very first book for the Jimmy Ray Elementary Library. Yes. And we have one more little surprise for you if I can change the slide properly. There we go. Sorry.
We appreciate you so much. Thank you, trustees. Thank you, school board members. We appreciate you. Thank you, trustees.
Thank you for seeing the potential in us.
Thank you, trustees. We appreciate all you do. Thank you, board of trustees. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, school board members. We appreciate you. Gracias, school board.
Thank you for your support, trustees.
Thank you, board members. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for choosing us.
Thank you for believing in us.
Thank you, board.
Thank you, Ms. Bridges. The next item on our agenda is our open forum. I do not believe we have anyone signed up to speak tonight. So the next item on our agenda, I'm going to go out of order. If you're following on our agenda, I'm going to move to action item A, which is the consideration with possible approval of naming WISD's Comprehensive High School number 2. I believe we have some committee naming members here that are going to do this presentation.
Do indeed, Mr. Autry. First of all, thank you all for what you do. I didn't know it was School Board Month, but thank you, each of you.
Yes, I agree with Kyle. Thank you for all you do. You can see it all over town. People are coming and wanting to come here because of all of your work and what you do for the children. It's been an honor to be named to the naming committee for the buildings, and let me get that off there. We had a good time doing this. The naming committee has been hard at work over the fall semester to determine the recommendations for the names of elementary number 10 and elementary number 11 and a comprehensive high school number 2. The board approved the names of the 2 elementary schools in November, and tonight we are here with a recommendation for comprehensive high school number 2. To help us determine this name, the committee surveyed the community to determine their suggestions. We also set parameters for the name, which included not naming the high school after a person and not using direction names like Waxahachie South or Waxahachie Central.
So as I'm sure you can imagine, the community was really excited about the survey we sent out, and putting out their ideas, and what they came up with was, from what you can tell here, there were quite a few people that wanted to see the word creek incorporated into the name somehow. And so with that, we tried to keep that preference for creek in mind and brainstormed a number of ideas. after a lot of discussion, we finally came up with a winner. And drum roll, please. The new name of the new recommendation to the school board for the new comprehensive high school number 2 is
Waxahachie Creek High School. This name gave us the opportunity to keep the word Waxahachie in the name of the school while also using the word creek. It also represents a link between Waxahachie High School and the new comprehensive high school because Waxahachie Creek runs behind the current WHS campus all the way to near the property for the new comprehensive high school. We ask that the board consider the naming committee's recommendation this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, Board, you've heard the recommendation from our committee members. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the naming of Waxahachie High School, Comprehensive High School number 2, Waxahachie Creek High School.
So moved.
A motion by Mrs. Timmerman, second by Mr. Schofield. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0.
I just want to say thank you so much to all of our committee members. Kevin, Kyle, thank y'all very much for being here. Thank y'all so much for all your hard work. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we will move to item 7A, which are reports, which will be our superintendent's report. Dr. Hollingsworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I do each month, I'll share with you where we ended in December. December 15th, we ended with 11,058 students. And you can see our average daily attendance is at 94.96, actually a little bit up from November. November was a little hard on us in terms of ADA, so we were pleased to see that move upward. I will tell you, just as a side note, I went to see Ms. Mendelson this afternoon. We ended on Friday the 5th with people coming in. Even though kids weren't in school, we did have folks showing up to enroll. We ended up with 11,055 on Friday. As of about 2 o'clock this afternoon, when I last checked in with Ms. Mendelson, we were at 11,096, so right at 11,100 kids. So. And then the other big thing I wanted to share with y'all is just, we talked a little bit about this in December, the last 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and a lot of hard work on the part of our Teaching, Learning, and Innovation Department, Dr. Beneker and his team, and really, really proud of the work they did. As you know, part of our balanced scorecard is to honor and support staff through a collaborative culture, working in PLCs, and to invest in staff growth through professional learning. 3 days, 3 sessions, and 3 goals. And the goals of the sessions over the 3 days, Wednesday through Friday, were to ensure that teachers are confident in lesson delivery, prepared to implement new strategies immediately, and to engage students at higher levels. You know, we've focused a lot on high-quality instructional materials, and so we are holding tight to the materials that we have, and we also want to make sure our staff are fully familiar with our learning checks and with our unit assessments, and also the process of team lesson internalization, moving from lesson creation to lesson internalization. And this is just a little bit of the feedback that we received. It was amazing being able to talk with other teachers to collaborate. This session showed me I'm honored as a master teacher. More collaboration in the future. Loved today. Thank y'all. This is one of the best trainings I have ever attended. More time like this. We met with principals virtually as we do every Monday morning. Heard much more of the same this morning from our principals, really echoing a lot of these same comments. So a lot of good work. went into preparation to make some really good days. Teachers really liked the fact that they didn't have to have an entire day where it was just a day of sitting in a session. They actually were able to break it up and then go work with their teams, go work in their classrooms, and we got a lot of really good feedback. So good work. With that, Mr. President, that concludes my superintendent's report.
Thank you very much. Report B, our informational bond 2023 construction update. Mr. Mott.
Thank you, Board. Dr. Hollingsworth. I'm here again to give you an update on the 2023 bond. We're going to start with Jimmy Ray Elementary. It is currently still on time, on budget. We have started the storm shelter roof. The structure internally is about 90% complete. They're working on the walls of the office area right now on that. Area A, all the steel erection is complete. The metal decking is about 99% complete. They got a few miscellaneous little small pieces here and there to tidy up, and they'll start that roofing there. We've also have the kitchen walls, AC ductwork, and rough plumbing is all in those areas is completed, almost complete as well. Area B, the steel erection is about 85% complete. We do have some of the exterior walls going up right now, and they're starting the ductwork in that area. And Area C, the steel erection has started. As of this morning, about half the columns in Area C are standing up right now. We do have the topping out ceremony scheduled for January 17th at 4 p.m. that day. Here's your site overviews. You can see there on the left is November 29th, the last one I showed you. The one on the right there is December 29th. And you can see where a lot of the metal and steel that you see there, all the bright and shiny, that is all the steel decking that is there. And you can see as we're moving forward, and some of the pictures you'll see that I have took a little over a week ago. When you're out there mid next week, it'll be even different from what you'll see here in just a minute. So the picture you see up there on the top left is one of the interior walls of the storm shelter or gym. Like I said, all three of the walls, three of the full-size walls like that are complete. The one that is not fully complete is where the office is, because they can only go up so high on some of that in one area of that until the office is done. The picture on your right there, that is looking straight from the front parking lot into the cafeteria area. That raised area is now totally decked, everything from that. That will have windows along that raised area there between the roof and that first little peak there. You'll see have windows along the cafeteria. And that bottom picture there is actually the kitchen serving area. I mean, the actual kitchen cooking and serving area there. You can see some of the ductwork and plumbing in that area. While I'm in STEAM, we are still currently on time. Rain is making it a little tight, but we're still on time right now. We are on budget. All the city permits have been obtained, and as of this morning, we got the TxDOT permits this morning. I got them to sign. We're signing them and sending them back, but they have been approved. They have to sign the final one. They won't sign it until after we sign it. We have poured Area A, B, and the storm shelter and elevator pit, all those grade beams and those such. We will be pouring Wednesday Area C grade beams. We are hoping for 2 slab pours by the end of the month. We may push one of them back into the early part of February due to the rain right now. But that's still, right now, as of this morning, that's still the plan. It depends on the rain we get today and maybe the rest of the week. Utilities, you can see the sewer's complete, storm's complete. The fire loop is only about 70% complete. A lot of that is they took off the whole 2 weeks of Christmas. And the retaining wall people took off the same way. So we didn't have any work during that time from Christmas through New Year's. That time we didn't have any of those out there working, but we had plumbers and those kind of things that were working in some other areas. Here's your site pictures. You can see that it's drastically changed. All that you see is the yellow you see is usually a grade beam poured, except in that back right corner of it, that's the grade beam they're getting ready to pour. But everything on the front half of that is all poured grade beams along that. And they're going to start pouring slabs in that front right corner and work their way across the front. That's how we've kind of got it as Area A, Area B, and then C, D, and E are the 3, I'll call classroom wings that will go along the back. Here's an area view from the back, kind of towards the exit. That white area you see is all retaining wall. So you're wondering, you keep hearing me talk about retaining wall. There is a lot of it. And it is tall and it is long. So that's give you a little bit there. The Hancock Building, we have all the city permits are in final review. They went to final review the 4th. I'm feeling this week, by the end of the week, we'll have the permit there, and that will start very quickly there. There were going to be some adjustments to schedules, but due to some discussions from this morning, we've decided to stay with the current schedule that we originally had. And the plan right now is, barring weather and all that, to hopefully have that building finished by spring break of 25. Findlay Junior High additions, Dr. Avert and Mr. Blanco had a meeting with Ryan and I think Bob, you were there? Yes. And Jonathan Aldis to get Mr. Blanco up to date on what's going on and what we're kind of talking about at that building. Give him some chances to have some input, see some things that he may want to change or things like that. Just look at some different things we're going on there to bring him up to speed since he's just coming on, so he's well aware of what's the future is for his building. Again, we are still planning to hopefully go out in March for bidding with that building. Howard Junior High, the meeting is scheduled next, I think it's Tuesday, with Mr. Williams, Dr. Avert, in the same group with and to go over the next round of renovations that we have there. We've had some already meetings with him. We're going to go back and go with some more just so he needs some more tweaks that he asked for and things like that. And that is set for next week. Waxahachie Creek High School, now, since it's no longer Comprehensive High School 2, it is in development. We're making great progress on that. Not a lot to say, but we are still working on it all the time on that to move forward with that. We're going to go to Prop C, Marvin Biomedical Academy. Over the first week of break, if any of y'all were driving around town and happened to see a crane at Marvin, and I got many calls, what's going on? It was 44 AC units being flown on and off that week. And it was about 2 days of that and then tying them up. The next week was Global High, it was 39 of them. Dunaway Elementary, we did 17. Those are all the ground units that are in closets. So we started that actually before the break. We still have 10 rooftop units to do there at a later time. At Northside, we replaced all the inside doors. We have about 4 that came in wrong from the factory. So they've been sent back out to be resized and all that. We'll replace those. They're being worked on now. Plan is at spring break to replace all the door handles to the ID style door handle versus keys. And then Findlay, we started the exterior door replacements. And you'll see some pictures of all those here in a minute. We've replaced 3 so far. Here's your Marvin cranes of them flying units on and off. And that was a 3-day process for those to be flown on and off. Here is Global. You can see the picture, the units. Those are the units double stacked there in the picture on the left, and all the trucks from Lockridge Priest, who has that contract, getting ready, being on hand to start tidying those up when we start. Here's the north side. Door on your left is what was there. Door on your right is what's there now. Big difference. So all the doors look the same color. They all the same style window, everything. All the doors in the classrooms, all the halls, everything look the same now. All the all the closet doors that were down the one hall, I think it's the 300 hall, all have the nice same doors. Everything looks the same there instead of a little bit of different doors throughout that building. They all look very nice. And then you have your, this is Findlay. So the door on your left is what was there. The door on your right is the new upgraded one. So we're going from those brown, dark looking doors to the more bright, anodized clear coats, what they call it. We'll have that on the front doors, the back doors, and all that in long term. Right now, we're just doing the exterior end hallways. Once renovations, the front and back will be done in renovation time, because we'll be moving some of that around. So we're just going to include that in the renovations instead of doing it beforehand. So we spend it once. Besides that, I'm going to turn it over to Bob for ACGM report.
Thank you, Board. Dr. Hollingsworth. This evening you have a copy of a report from December. The intent of this report is to document the projects that are in construction They're divided, there's 3 tabs in there, so you'll see the 3 different projects in there. Just ask that you take your time, look through those, and come to us with any questions that you might have, and let us know if there's anything more you might want to see in those reports. But the intent is to do this monthly, so you'll receive these reports monthly. Any questions?
Any questions, board? Thank you guys very much. Our next report will be our information review on board policy update 122. Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. President, Board, Dr. Hollingsworth. This evening you have the opportunity for your first review of update 122. This incorporates all of the legislative changes from the regular session from the 2023 legislature. All of the legal updates have already been done. And so for proposed local changes, this is your first review. No actions expected tonight. Each of you at the dais have these slides. I encourage you just to look through these. There's only 10 proposed changes. All of the proposed changes merely relate to areas where our local policy needed to essentially be aligned with changes that were made within legal. So there's nothing controversial here. Administration is ultimately recommending approval of these 10 changes, but not tonight. You have a month to review these, look through these, and again, what's on these slides is provided to you. Should you have any questions over the month, please refer those to Dr. Hollingsworth or me, and we can work through those. But it is our expectation to approve or to recommend approval for these 10 local changes at our next meeting in February. If you have any questions at this time, I'll certainly address them.
Questions for Mr. Robinson? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Our next report will be informational report on the district rebranding as well as a timeline for the new brand to be implemented. Mrs. Bridges and Mrs. Troll.
Good evening again, board. We are so excited to talk to you this evening about branding. So these are all of our secondary campus logos along with our current district logo, what we call the feather W in the middle. So when we think about the brand of the district, we understand that it creates an identity for our district, makes us stand out from others, helps us tell our story, and it makes an impression on those who don't know the district. We feel that now is a great time to rebrand our district. The district brand has been strongly tied to the WHS brand for many years. When you consider the feather W, I'm sure someone is wearing the feather W right now, but that feather is definitely tied to the Indians. So with a new comprehensive high school coming on board soon, Waxahachie Creek High School, we feel that now is a great time to make a branding change because our feather W is outdated, and because it's so tall, it can be difficult for us to use it graphically. It's also very detailed, and so it can sometimes be hard to embroider it or make it look really clear and crisp on things. So the process that we're going to go through for rebranding, we have reviewed the branding of other multi-high school districts. We have reviewed some best practices in rebranding from our friends at T-Spra. We've determined what we like and dislike about those brands. And then Amy is incredibly gifted graphically, and so she's been able to take that data and those opinions and brainstorm some suggested logos. And then we'll receive feedback, including your feedback, which is extremely important to us. We do plan to finalize that logo and roll it out this summer so that we can start the 24-25 school year with a fresh and updated district logo. Yes, sir.
I just want to be sure and make it clear to the board and also anybody who may be watching that we are not talking about the Waxahachie High School W.
No.
I mean,
No.
that is not what we're talking about. We're talking about our district brand.
Yes, so when we call it the feather W,
Right.
that is that swooshy.
Yeah, because Coach Tollison might come out of his chair if we were talking about that W, but we are
Don't worry,
100%,
Coach.
we are not. And so, That's right, that's right.
No, your W.
Your W's not swooshy, so.
We will also roll out a brand style guide to accompany this. So in larger districts, there tend to be a lot of logos floating around and a lot of colors being used. And so this style guide will just help all of our staff members, all of our campuses know which logo to use when, which colors can be used, how logos can be used, etc. So we will make sure it is a smooth rollout and everyone understands what goes where. So I'm going to turn it over to Amy now to talk to you about the graphic itself.
Thank you, Board and Dr. Hollingsworth. Okay, so as I researched, I've been going over these things for months now, looking at other districts' logos, seeing what is just visually appealing to the eye and what's not. Some districts, like on the left, are very straightforward, very more modern. Some on the right are more literal when it comes to education and using things like that. Nobody's wrong, but I think I certainly have just more of an opinion that if we're going to move away from that feather W, we want something that is still a strong W, but something that's more modern and can be a lot easier used with graphics and with letterhead and things like that. So this is the W that I came up with, and our team has been discussing it and just really brainstorming over, what color does it need to be? What, is this going to work on coffee mugs? Is this going to work on shirts and things like that? We really landed on this Kelly green because it differentiates between the traditional WHS green. Because we need to be more inclusive as we grow and have more high schools. We're going to be accepting more colors and more mascots, and so the district itself needs to be just its own color, its own thing. But then it can also still be, which you'll see in a couple slides, we can incorporate some of those other colors. So it keeps us united. It promotes a sense of tradition. This Kelly green is actually what WHS had in the 70s. And perhaps even before. And so it's kind of neat because we're going back to our roots, but also moving forward in a more modern way. It also ensures all schools that they feel like they belong as we grow. That's very, very important to us in our communication and in our strategy as we talk about moving forward, that these new high schools and elementaries and everybody feels like they are a part of Waxahachie ISD. This is an example of the letterhead that would look, that would go on all district documents, things like that. We chose a font that kind of works well with the strong W. We kind of liked it because it kind of has a nod towards that elementary Danielian handwriting, and so, but still being modern and very readable. This is a sample business card that we could do with that logo, sample email signature. Appreciate Dr. Hollingsworth for letting us use him as an example. This is probably one of my favorite things. So this is a GIF that I created, and so you'll see it's changing colors in the middle, and it's able to be embedded into an email signature, so everything Dr. H sends out could actually represent all of the colors of the district. So, whether it's blue or orange or the WHS green, it really is inclusive of everything. This is an example of the W on merch, just so you can get an idea of how that might look. Again, this is something that we've been working on for months, and we've had a lot of discussion and a lot of feedback so far, but we would love to hear what you guys think. So if you have any questions, please ask.
Anyone?
I think it looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your work. Being honest, I was a little bit skeptical until you put it all together, not just the standalone W, but with the other writing.
It helps to see how it's going to be used.
It looks really, really good, really good.
Yeah, thank you.
And when did merchandise change to merch? Isn't that funny?
That's what the kids say.
Shorthand. Yeah, that's the kid, yeah.
Everything's
Holly could get us one.
Yes, we will definitely get y'all some.
We'll collaborate.
Swag.
All right, thank you very much, ladies. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, board, item 8 was our consent agenda. We have items. Wait a minute. Oh, did I went right over you, did? My eyesight's failing me. Sorry, Ms. Burkhalter. I already had your part marked out. I'm sorry. Informational report on student-teacher job sharing.
All right, good evening, Board. Dr. Hollingsworth. So this evening I have a report about a new way that we're working with our clinical teachers. There we go. Okay. All right. In the fall, we noticed that the number of clinical teacher placements from SAGU were fewer than previous years, so we started investigating. In talking with Dr. Christy Strange at SAGU, we found that the primary reason we've not been receiving their placements is because districts near us, such as the Life School and Palmer ISD, were willing to pay their SAGU student clinical teachers. This chart shows the decreasing numbers over the last 5 years. Ms. Mott and I met with Dr. Strange during the fall semester to brainstorm potential solutions to bring more student teachers back to WISD. We found that a job sharing situation would benefit both WISD and SAGU. In this, up to 2 SAGU students would share 1 position for a semester as a temporary employee. 2 SAGU students will work as unpaid clinical teachers for 4 hours per day and then fill an aide position for 4 hours per day during 1 semester. The students will receive aid pay for the hours that they work as an instructional aide and will be unpaid for their clinical teaching time. Placements in life skills, PBSE, and SLE special education positions will be restricted due to the high needs of the students and the need for additional training for those staff members. Most job sharing aid candidates will serve in instructional, resource, or inclusion aid positions. When we brought the idea to principals, they were very excited about the possibility of working with more of our SAGU clinical teachers. For the spring semester, while this spring semester we were only able to identify 1 student who will be able to fulfill a position due to certification, she'll serve in a blended early childhood special education aid and clinical teaching position at Turner Pre-K for the spring semester. We anticipate having more placements in the fall for the fall 2024 students because we have a little more time to plan. We continue to have strong partnerships with other universities in the area. We found that student teachers are an excellent group for targeting our recruiting efforts. The T-Class grant has been very beneficial to WISD as we've hired 5 of the 6 student teachers who were placed in WISD last year. We currently have 4 A&M Commerce clinical teachers, and the grant funds from T-Class are paid to those student teachers as $20,000 or $2,000 a month over a 10-month period. And then finally, in addition to job sharing, WISD has many pathways to become a teacher. We work with paraprofessionals who hold bachelor's degrees so that they can make a smooth transition into teaching. Clinical teachers and observers come to us from university-based programs such as those at UNT Dallas, A&M Commerce, West Texas A&M, Western Governors University, UTA, SAGU, A&M, Tarleton, and Liberty University. Some alternative certification students serve as long-term subs until they are able to meet those certification requirements. And last but not least, our CTE education program has done an excellent job of preparing students to enter the education field. We'll be supporting them through their degree and certification process so that they'll continue their education career with WISD. Thanks. Do you have any questions for me?
The grant money, is it limited to $20,000 a year, or how does it work?
Yes, ma'am. We can. We were able to do up to 8 at $20,000 per year.
Okay, and so we received a grant from the state?
From T-Class grant. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Burkhalter.
Thank you.
Now we'll move to our consent agenda, which is item A8, which is A through I. If there's anything that needs to be removed for individual discussion, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Can I ask Mr. Mott one question about H? We don't have to pull it.
Sure.
Are you good with that? We done with leaks?
What's that?
Are you good with, releasing the retainage at Wildman? We done with leaks? Is it good?
Yes, yes, sir.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Anyone else?
Motion to approve consent agenda in full.
Second.
Motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Rogers, a second by Mr. McCutcheon. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to action item B, which is consideration with possible action to approve a resolution and agreement for a public sidewalk easement with the city of Waxahachie adjacent to the roadways of Sunnyside Drive and Edgefield Road along the northern boundary of Waxahachie ISD's property where Dunaway Elementary School is located. Mr. Allenshine.
Thank you, Mr. President and Board, Dr. Hollingsworth. The agenda language describes exactly where the proposed sidewalk easement is. It's the northern boundary of Dunaway Elementary. What it does is connect the community around Dunaway Elementary to the school so that students who are walking to school and walking home from school can safely walk on a sidewalk instead of walking in those respective streets. When Stephanie Heimbuck was principal at Dunaway, she identified this concern, and it's been known for some time. This will fundamentally change the safety of the campus for our students. This is a good thing, and we are very pleased to have the partnership and very grateful to have the partnership with the city of Waxahachie. We will provide them this easement. They will come and build a sidewalk. We will spend nothing on the project. So this is a good thing for the district. Administration recommends approval, and tonight we urge you to approve this easement.
Who initiated this? Was it the city or the school district?
We started the conversation with the city more than a year ago. We reached out to see what could be done in terms of signage. We were looking for some additional school zone signs. I don't know, Stephen Mott could correct.
City did reach out to us asking for this late last month.
So about a year ago, we started that conversation, trying to get some additional support for ingress, egress, help students get to school. We were thinking signage. This was the city's counter. This is a good opportunity for us.
Okay. At this time.
Dusty,
I'm sorry.
I was going to say, actually, at a joint meeting with the city, it was, I think it was when we opened the new high school, we discussed it. I brought it up because I was a parent that was driving that way to pick up my kid every day and trying to avoid kids walking in the street. So I appreciate this. It's been an issue for a while.
Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to approve action item B as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Kriegel. Second by Mrs. Timmerman. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Our final action item tonight would be consideration with possible action to approve a furniture purchase order for the new Jimmy Ray Elementary. Mr. Mott?
Good evening, Board, again. So I'm here to talk to you about the furniture order for the Jimmy Ray Elementary. So in the last couple of months, about a couple of months ago, we reached out to 5 different furniture companies, asked them to bid on the actual classroom furniture for the school. Once they bid on that, we took the best bid on that situation, and then we worked with their design team and that things to design the cafeteria, the library, the collaboration rooms, the sensory rooms, those kind of more specialized rooms with that. So with all that said, I'll show you some of those layouts that they have come up with and been approved by the administration here with WISD. This would be your library that they have. As you can see, there's very few walls in it. It's very movable. The furniture, all the furniture, bookcase and all that can be moved around. makes it very mobile, so she can set up for easily, he or she, the librarian, can set up easily for book fairs, for anything they have going on in there. So it very makes it, and it's a lot like the ones we've been doing when we've been renovating Wedgeworth, Northside, Shackelford, those. This would be your cafeteria. So you'll see the tables there in the middle. Those are convertible to benches, so when we are having presentations, they'll be able to have seats there. The tables you see, all of these are all movable. The tables we have, the round tables we have are designed for when parents are coming to eat with their students. They can have a separate table. And then we added some color there in the middle just to give it a little bit different color of those still kind of convertible bench tables. Next one's going to be one of our collaborative spaces. So on one of our halls, you'll go out there, you'll see that because by state laws, there's a dead end area, so it has to be like a walled in collaborative space instead of just a flat opening area. So that is this one right here. So it's kind of like a little classroom at the end of the hall. But you can see it has some color, it has nice shaped tables and all that. Adds a little bit different feel to it there. And then this is another one of them. This is the one right outside of that area, and you can see how it adds all the different ways. It's soft seating, higher, lower seating, all that. So it's adding more fun environment to the learning process there. We have many more. We have 3 or 4 others, but I wasn't going to show you all of them. I just wanted to show you these few so you can kind of see. And so that brings, let you know, that is where we're asking for a bid not to exceed $1.1 million for the furniture for Jimmy Ray Elementary.
I will add, Mrs. Mott sought representatives from all of our elementary schools. So we had 3 teacher representatives from all of our elementary schools to come and provide feedback to us, not only on the collaboration and library furniture, but also the furniture that we're going to choose for our classrooms as well. So it was a really good process. So.
Will you give me that number again, please?
1.1 million, not to exceed.
Any questions for Mr. Mott?
Was that about what we had it at in finance, Ryan?
We had a budget of 1.2 on this project.
Mr. Mott, is that all the classrooms also, or just the collaborative?
That is everything. That's the entire building of class, everything in their classrooms, all that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Offices, everything.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve a furniture purchase order not to exceed $1.1 million for the new Jimmy Ray Elementary.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Timmerman,
Second.
second by Mrs. Kriegel. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you,
very
Board.
much, sir. All right, our last item will be our comments from individual board members. Any particular order?
I would like to recognize our theater department. Mr. Reynolds and his team always do an outstanding job, and I believe in 2 weeks we will be seeing, or I will be attending, and I'm sure many of you will be attending, Beauty and the Beast, and it is going to be a wonderful presentation for everybody. So I'd like to recognize Mr. Reynolds and the theater department and all the kids for all that they do, because it's a lot of hard work, but I appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Thank you, Ms. Bridgers, and your staff, if you're listening.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Ms. Timmerman.
Over the break, I went to Common Ground Ministries, and it made me think about all the great partnerships that we have in Waxahachie that help our kids. They have a great tutoring system there, just like the Boys and Girls Club, the daycares, the Y. So I'd just like to say thank you to all of them and their great partnerships that help our kids.
I want to thank the naming committee because I'm sure that they had to comb through a lot of information, and I feel confident that they were very thorough and in their process. So thank you to them.
I see a couple of principals in the audience, and man, I know y'all have a tough job. As we start our spring semester, I just say keep your head on the swivel and and let's keep everybody safe, finish up strong.
John alluded to this earlier, but we had a coach and teacher pass away this week, Rick Blythe. He was a longtime district employee. Personally, he would coach my dad in basketball back in the 60s, and when I took up golf in 8th grade, him and his son were the first ones to teach me the game, and eventually helped me get into college to play there. So long-time legacy from him and his family for generations, so just condolences to their family.
I will conclude with appreciation for Mrs. Bridges and her staff, but one person we left out tonight was Mr. Mott. You missed your calling on cooking, man. You nailed you nailed that tonight. You nailed it. You nailed it. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. McCutcheon. Second by Mr. Starnader. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.